Hello and welcome to today's episode of the live stream. We're excited for this topic all about should you release your creative magic idea with a magic company? And so, here to chat with us about that is the man himself, Mr. Jeff Copeland. What's going on, Jeff?
Hey, what's up, Caleb?
Pretty good, man. Pretty good. This is a crazy topic because we know there are definitely a lot of creatives out there in our community that are interested in coming up with ideas and sharing ideas with the community and maybe want to know how they can relate with a magic company.
Yeah, I mean, we hear from 'em every month, every week sometimes, right?
Absolutely. I get emails of different ideas and things like that. And I'm sure for every email that there is coming in, there's probably somebody out there that has not sent an email that's thinking, how would I even start? You know?
Yeah, yeah, that's a good question. Because there's a lot of stuff I've learned in the last 7, 8 years now. 5 years, we are at 5 years, believe it or not, of Copeland Coins. So if you've ordered anything from the website and got physical products with the coin sleeves, you'll see that we're celebrating this our fifth year. So it's unbelievable.
It's pretty crazy. Yeah, for sure. And 5 years of crazy, wacky ideas that became, actual reality, and
Yeah.
turned out to be awesome ideas.
Yeah, thank you for that, and thank you for everybody else who's contributed. I know sometimes our contributors are watching, you're here today, or can't join us, but there's been a lot of people. I mean, dozens and dozens. If you look at all the products and designs, there's been a lot of hard work, and several guys that have been fortunate enough that it fit right, who have released their ideas through CopelandCoins.com.
Mhm, mhm. For sure, for sure. And different guys, and it's, I mean, it's all over the world too, so that's nice. Um,
Yeah,
and I think one of the things that, we approach or we encounter is when we get some of these ideas sometimes through email is kind of the first thing I wanted to chat about today is this idea different enough? And
mm,
it's just a nice kind of filter for anyone who's watching that's interested. Maybe I have an idea I wanna pitch, thinking about how different is the idea? Have we done our research to figure out, is my idea different enough before I pitch it that it's not gonna, clash with other things?
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean that's probably the first question I ask when I'm watching a new idea for somebody to release. Well, I take that back. That's the second idea. The first thing that I watch before I release the idea, if somebody submits something to me, or if I'm thinking about idea, if I'm thinking about approaching somebody else to release that for me, the first thing I ask personally is, does it charm me? That's the word. I think the word charm. It's a magical word. It fits with the brand. It fits with wonder and beauty. And so that's the first thing I asked before releasing the CopelandCoins.com. Now, granted, there are dozens, if not hundreds, of magic companies out there around the planet that release ideas, but to fit with our brand and our motto, make beautiful magic. That's kind of the question I ask. Does it charm me? Because if it charms me, it's beautiful, it's magical, it's intriguing, it captivates me. Those are the kind of things. So when that's pretty much the first question I'm going to ask, right? And then I have to, even as an owner of a company, I have to name my limitations. And one thing is I don't know everything, right? I was just listening to is it Jordan Peterson, and one of his things was he said his capacity as a human being is not possible to know everything about humanity. It's just being one human, and that's my state about magic. There's no way I could possibly know everything about magic. So I have to ask the question, is it original enough? And that's the question that Caleb was talking about. That's probably the second question, basically. Is it original enough? Is it new enough? Is it different enough? Is there something about this that we're not just re-releasing what the other magic store already released, what the other magician released before the days of magic stores, whatever's already been out there? And sometimes the question is it so old that it's new, right? Because there's old ideas that need to be brought back, and there's nothing wrong with that, but that idea, is it original enough that it's going to be meaningful? And Caleb, I mean, you could speak to some of this as well. I mean, why is it important that the idea is original? Like, you got any thoughts on it? Otherwise I'll chime in.
No, you're good, 100%. No, well, there's a whole lot of thing the other thing we're gonna get into a little later is crediting, and the magic world has a very, very magic community has a very, very tight-knit, community where crediting is super, super important. Everybody needs, recognition for their ideas and their contributions, and, so that's something I think we're gonna talk about a little later, but
Yeah.
just being original, is gonna, when you're pitching an idea to a magic company, you got to start thinking about what's in it for them, what's in it for the magic company, just
Exactly, and that's a
like a job
harsh
interview.
reality because the key word is company there.
Mhm,
Yeah. I didn't
mhm.
mean to cut you off,
No,
but
you're good. I was
that
just thinking, just like a job interview, you're trying to think what's in it for the company to hire me, what's in it for the magic company to bring my product on, right?
right, absolutely, and a great mentor in my life questioned me at one point. It was a couple years into doing this business. He said, "Jeff, is this a hobby or a business?" Right? Because I was kind of doing this all by myself. This is before the days of Rick jumping on or Caleb jumping on or any of the contributing artists. Well, maybe I'd had a couple of contributing artists at the time, and it still was kind of like this hobby thing. But it's like, is this a business? And the reality of a business is, if it is a business, it has to turn a profit, right? Because we have children, we have wives, we have families to take care of, we have bills to pay. And so that is the reality of a company. It's a business, right? It has to generate profits. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with whatever job you have or wherever your source of income is coming from. There's nothing wrong with hard work and dedication and creating things. I believe that beauty is created. It's something that exists naturally in our created order, and it's something that we can either create or destroy as human beings. And so that's something that we want to do. And that's kind of the first question: is it original enough that it will generate sales, right?
But what's
And
interesting, go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm
yeah,
sorry.
no, I was gonna say, and also like it's not that it's all about money. I just want to make sure that's clear on that. But it has to be for a business to proceed. And sometimes it's an idea that can be paired with other things to be brought forth. But go ahead,
Mhm.
Caleb.
Yeah, yeah. Well, Shiloh mentioned here, if it doesn't make dollars, it doesn't make sense. And that's kind of a nice kind of saying there. But the other aspect of being original enough is, when we say enough, that's going to obviously vary depending on the magic company and depending on the artist.
Yeah.
So when we see things and things come across our desk, it's like, okay, is this original compared to the other coin magic stuff that we know of, that we've seen? And is it just a small tweak on an idea, or is it original, like we said, enough that it's going to actually make people go, "Whoa, this is different. Let me check this out." Right? We're always trying to find the thing that is going to kind of shock the community, I guess, like in a good way. Like, "Whoa, this is a new idea." Even if it's not 100% a new idea, it's a different amalgamation of ideas that nobody's thought of or nobody's done it this way, kind of thing.
Yeah, and then that it captivates a broader appeal because don't get me wrong, like we've had some brilliant ideas come in from emails for like this gimmick coin. Hey, could you chop this up, do this, do that? It's like, yes, we can. One, for a price, and then two, like, is there a market for that, right? And that's not to say that the idea isn't great, but maybe we're not the right company for that. Maybe you go to the individual coin gap manufacturer, which these guys are getting rare and rare to find, and you drop a couple grand and then you get a one of a kind item for yourself. But for us on a mass scale to drop way more than a couple grand to get into prototypes and get into scaling and to get into the whole production run, now we're talking five figures and not just four figures. We're talking five figures plus. Um, it's got to be original enough that it's going to be desirable by a broad audience, if that makes sense.
Right, and that's
And
and that's
that's a tough call to make. That's a tough challenge for sure. As somebody who wants to create the most beautiful thing, like, can we do this and not sink the ship, right? Because if we spend all of our resources on an idea that's beautiful, yet it doesn't sell, and we sink the ship here, then we didn't serve anybody. We didn't serve ourselves. We didn't serve the community. Copeland Coins ceased to exist because we chased after an idea that wasn't original enough to have a broad perspective.
right. Yeah, no, for sure. And that's the other interesting thing. It goes back to individual company, and our individual company, at Copeland Coins, is kind of like this idea of making beautiful magic. Some of our things are, more of that like handcrafted type, like the Via Hero wallet, the Traveler, things like that, where they are like handcrafted. But then there's some things that are like, we're trying to make in mass or larger quantities.
Yeah,
Uh,
nothing quite mass amount in coin magic.
right. I guess I started to say mass amount, but larger quantities. Um, and so, like you're saying, it's got to have enough of an appeal that it's not like, well, four guys will be interested in this. It's like, how do we balance that?
Exactly. Yeah. That's a good point. And so sometimes, unfortunately, because of that, we have to say no. And it's not that the idea was bad. It was a brilliant idea. It was a great
Right.
idea.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I
but
saw a
then
really
sometimes we get ideas that are pitched to us, and it really just wasn't original, right? It's already been released. We
Mhm.
see a lot of very similar type effects happening. Like there'll be phases where edge grip is really popular on Instagram, right? And
Mhm.
then arming is very popular on Instagram, and a lot of the retention vanish or whatever. It could be whatever is in the mode. Uh,
So many 3
we
fly versions.
yeah, absolutely. I know we created a huge buzz when we released the Copeland coin box or keto box routine started appearing everywhere on social media. And so there's routines that come and go, right? And so you got to ask, is it original enough? If it's already been published, if it's already out there, and it's easily accessible. It's hard for us to say we're going to spend our resources developing an idea that's already been developed by somebody else, and you can purchase it for much cheaper elsewhere.
For
If that
sure,
makes
for sure.
sense.
I want to get to a couple quick comments real quick, which is Richard has. He says he's got 2 keto box routines, wondering about releasing them. So this is a perfect example. As we go through these things, think about in your head like the different topics that we're going to chat about, the different kind of filters, and then if it kind of passes the test per se, then feel free to send that to us. Obviously, you guys can
Yeah,
send us team at copelandcoins.com, that email address there. Send us your ideas and things. We're always interested in new ideas.
yeah, absolutely. And every once in a while, someone right now we're at any given time, we've always got half a dozen things that are going on in the background. Trust us.
Mhm.
We have a list that is super long, but certain things cut through and they rise up to the top based on originality and if it's charming and those
Mhm.
sort of things. So
And a couple other
absolutely.
things we're going to get to.
By the way,
I,
thanks guys for the nice comments. So there's some really nice comments that I missed.
yeah, yeah, yeah. By the way, yeah, yeah. Shiloh, 5 years of quality. Thanks a lot,
Thank
Shiloh.
you.
Um, let's see. Pseudo Magician was saying, "Missed you guys in Magic Live." Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed Magic Live.
But that was fun.
Um, Yeah, Joe, says everybody at, Copeland Coins is charming.
Oh,
Thanks,
thank you.
Joe. I paid Joe a good sum of money to say that, so that was good.
Good job.
And then, Ian says, "Much like the Traveler wallet, so many coin wallets out there, but nothing quite like, anything like the Traveler, and he hasn't left home since he got it." So, yeah, that's another example of like, okay, we have coin wallets out there. Every coin purse, for the most part, there's a couple unique ones, but most of the
Yeah,
coin purses have a similar shape and design.
yeah,
And then Jeff came along and created this handcrafted thing that looks totally different, but then it also the Traveler now has a gimmick, like, that you add to it. So now you open up a world of possibilities, and so that's different enough to warrant, and obviously it's been popular for years and years, so it's
yeah,
been
absolutely. So I mean, yeah, there's let's speak to it. There's a lot of thank you, a lot of great stuff out there. So yeah,
yeah.
but stay on topic. Did I answer? Did that come across clear, Caleb?
Yeah, I think so. The idea of, is it different enough?
Yeah,
Um, I think that's it kinda comes back to reading, reading and checking in, and feel free to bounce ideas off of us, if you're wondering. But it comes down to doing your due diligence, seeing if there's anything out there that's related to this, and seeing how far you can push something. If you have an idea, how far can I push it to make it a different thing, right?
yeah, absolutely.
So there's that. The next little topic we have here is kind of what can you expect if you were to release or to try to release something with a magic company. I wanted to chat about that real quick, kind of how that process would even work.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that you come in if you've never done this before, and again, like I said, I released Traveler and Blackbird through Murphy's Magic, so they're wholesaler. We carry them on our website, but those products, because they're through Murphy's and Murphy's owns the contract on them. My name is on the product, but it's currently owned by Murphy's for a set amount of time. There's a sunset clause here; it comes back to me soon, but there is. There is you deal with the manufacturer, with the person who brings you on. And so if you think it's just my idea, I'm just going to hand it to them, and the next month I'm going to get a paycheck, and then it's just going to come right, it's going to be on everybody's shelves, on everybody's website. That's a little bit mistaken. It's a much longer process than that. For example, when just the rooster out there, when he came to me with the idea for doing releasing his Okito box routines. I said, yes, I'd like to do that, but also I want to do that with my own version of Okito box. There's some things I'd like to change. I think I could make it a little better. I could tweak some things. And so that's when we came up with the Copeland Coin box. Well, that was a long process. That was a very, very long process. That wasn't just going to film and getting it. It was actually months and months and months of prototyping and discussion and things like that. So it really played out. And then, for example, sometimes we have ideas. Like, for example, the quarter coin box. Again, this is in-house thing on the coin box thing. I had these in stock several months ago, but they just got released last month. And that was because it worked on our timing and our schedule, the way that things would work and the best time we felt to release things. So even though I had already paid for it, was sitting on inventory for maybe like 3 months, it was a little while. I was like, Caleb, we got to sell these things. We got to get them to market. Sometimes it just fits in the schedule. So for example, with Traveler and Blackbird, I filmed those and it still took over a year for them to get released. I mean, it just takes time because there's so much stuff going on behind the scenes that a company is a company and they've got different priorities maybe than you as the individual artist do, or it's just life, right? It just happens.
And there is one thing I want to point out too, that it also helps with, thinking, as we talked about at the very beginning, thinking what's in it for the company. When you want to package up your idea per se to deliver to the company, like here's my idea, or here's a video of me doing this thing, this routine, trying to think about like as far as it can go originality wise, but also as far as it can go like as a total package, because we have received ideas before where it's like a one-off, like a one quick little thing, and it's like, ah man, this is a cool idea, but I wish it was developed more so that it could be like a full-fledged project where maybe there's multiple handlings, multiple routines, multiple objects. And I'll give you two examples. We had somebody recently, we haven't been able to release this, so I won't be able to name the name, but there was somebody recently that came to us and said, "Hey, I have this idea for this routine, and what's great about it is that it involves um, this product that you already sell, so it would help you sell more of them, and it involves a new product that you could create that would help you get another product line, and you could sell this routine with them." And it's like
Mm-hmm.
that. This person was really thinking, "How do I help them so that they can help
Yeah,
me?"
that's
And then
smart.
the second example I was gonna give you was, Travis Askew. We released his Ring Magic download, Ouroboros, and
Mm-hmm.
he has, I mean, all these different moves included in 3 different routines on that project. It wasn't just like, "Hey, I got this one thing to show you," he had
Right.
all these different things.
Yeah. That's the unfortunate thing sometimes because people will come with a beautiful, absolute killer magic moment, but it's just this little one standalone idea, and it's really, really tough. It reminds me of the book Troy Hoosier. He has a book called Moments, and he talks about maximizing moments. And so in every routine, he counts the number of moments that are magical. And so, like maybe this routine has 5 moments, or this routine has 20 magic moments within the routine where the coin disappears, reappears. It's over here, it's over there, it's in the spectator's hands, this, that, and that. Each one of these reaction points are called moments. And so, if you can maximize those and present a bigger game plan, that really helps.
Yeah, I like that. That's a good idea. That's a little plug for the what's the name of that book again?
It's
Moments?
called Moments, Moments and Destroyers. Vanishing Ink put out these 2 books by Troy Hoosier. They're very good. They're
Okay.
coin magic books.
That's for our
Most
buddy Matthew, who's always watching, wondering what the book recommendation of the week is. That's
there you go.
book recommendation of the week because that's a good idea. But yeah, it's kind of like in the comedy world, they talk about laughs per minute.
Yeah, same thing. Hmm.
It's like, how do we maximize, not only in each individual routine, but also like thinking about it as a project. Like, what would I want to buy? Like, if I was, when you're trying to pitch to a magic company, one way you can think about it is if Copeland Coins decided to release a project and it had this in it, what would I want it to look like before I was like, yes, let me get it. Right? Would you want it to be just one little 5-minute moment and the download is only like 10 minutes long to teach you it? Or would you want it to be like a full-fledged project where they thought of everything and then maybe they included the props and everything like that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and there's place for those moments and things like that, and they're out there. And there were have been some select performers. I think it's harder and harder to pull off this character where they do an entire storyline for one moment. Some guys can maybe pull that off. But in the most part with coin magic, the nature of coin magic is not as such. Like you're one of a routine that has moments that kind of build and that kind of thing. But that being said, just something to think about. If you're going to market one moment, it better be one of the moments above all moments.
Another good example of this is that we recently, I don't know if we I don't think we have any in stock right now, but we recently started carrying imagination coins from Garrett Thomas.
Mhm.
And that's another example of a routine where it could just be one moment, basically.
Yeah, that's true. There you go.
But he fleshed it out, and when you watch the routine, the actual routine itself has, like, 2 main moments, and then he has, like, a middle section that you can add in if you would like, and then he
Yeah,
has, like, 2 additional, like, routine moments that could go
yeah,
after or separate. So the whole DVD or the whole compilation is or download is, like, a bunch of different ideas, you know?
yeah. But those you nailed it nailed on the head there. Like that's what I mean. Garrett Thomas took coins across, and he said, "Here's the strongest moments," and he packed that in and made that into this amazing project. And it is a project, and it's a killer routine by
Mhm,
thinking smarter, by amplifying the best parts. So
mhm.
yeah. So I mean, there's more than one way to go around it. These are just important thought processes. As if you just got an idea that's half baked, you can present it to Magic Company. You can present it to us, and I mean that as an idea that's it's soft baked. It still needs some more. You can present that to the company, but the
Yep,
question is, does the company have time to work with you? And sometimes the answer is yes. I mean, if it's coming through us, our team is going to filter and work with your ideas. It just like you wouldn't go to the publisher and say, "Here's my book, print it." You hand it to their editor, like, and you get other eyes on it, and they mold it and help it become something that fits with their brand, and they help to strengthen your brand, and it's a team effort. So
sure, sure. Well, the next little quick thing was the talk about how to work well with a magic company. Um, and it's we've kind of talked about some of that stuff already, but just wanted to see if you had any additional thoughts to chat about. What's the best way to approach your relationship with the magic company um,
yeah.
for that best outcome?
Yeah, I would say like always, like humility is always the best thing. Like if you're coming to somebody else who is and somewhat they're in a position of power, they're already established, right? That's not a bad way to say it. But like, anytime you're talking to somebody, hey, I've got this great idea, would you check it out? Not just like, here, you're gonna release this. And
Right.
most people don't do that. Most people don't. They do come with some respect on board. But yeah, I think just being communicating with them and being patient. And for me, I always tell people, email me. Like if you drop it on the social media or something like that, good luck. I might or might not get back to you. But if you email team@copelandcoins.com, you're going to get a response. You should get a response unless you are unless you're a jerk or a punk.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of like I think it's just to approach with humility and sincerity and say, hey, I've got this idea, and videos help, like because respectful of our time, like in a short video, an edited video, or just at least a concise video, not a 10-minute long video of an introduction of this is what I'm thinking. Just like, hey, here's this trick, and you show the moments.
That's a good
Just
point.
respectful of the company's time,
That's a
the
good
people's
point.
time.
I think
Yeah.
the other thing that's really that we can notice from like some of our favorite creators to work with is like flexibility.
Mm,
Like they're willing to like have a chat about like, okay, we're thinking about this, or we're thinking about the pricing on this. We need to tweak the pricing for this and this, and we need to order this, and this is going to happen. They're just like, oh yeah, cool, no problem, or oh
yeah.
yeah, I'm happy to jump on a live stream and help promote this, or oh yeah, let me film something real quick for you. Like,
Yeah. Oh, that's a huge thing right there.
you know what I
Like, I
mean?
mean, no matter what, you're going to care about your baby more than anybody, right? If you're releasing something, even not that the Magic Company is definitely cares about it. I mean, invested their time, which is super valuable. They've invested their money, which is we know valuable, and so they want things to succeed. But that idea that you're willing to be a team player and promote and be on the social media because you will be the strongest influencer for your own trick.
Mhm.
I
But
mean,
I
the
think
company's brand hopefully carries some clout, and hopefully people know they trust the company. Hopefully they trust Copeland Coins. If we're releasing something, it's quality. Because, like as we just talked about, we have filters in place. We don't just let anything rise up to our new release level. So, but yeah, that idea that you're going to be on board and promote, and that's huge. So,
Sure, sure. And I think I'll say real quickly, just so that anyone watching this, another way you're getting value from watching this live stream is that's another thing for working performers to think about, like that I learned early on is like from some of my mentors, always be easy to work with, you
Mm,
know. It doesn't mean you have to let people walk all over you, clients like that want to, take over your show and stuff, but like have things in place like we're saying, that's why you have contracts and things like that, but be easy to work with. Some of the people in show business that, work the most are the ones that are easy to work with. And so what we're saying here is, if you have a magic company that you like and you want to work with, be easy to work with yourself so that it can develop a good relationship.
yeah, absolutely. And I would echo on that, like not just easy to work with. The word that is my word of the year, if you haven't heard it already, but I think for reasons, be empathetic.
Mhm.
Put yourself in those people's shoes who are in the company, because that's what one of the things I've noticed about the guys that rise up, the performers that work the most, are the easiest to work with. The guys that have their shows in Vegas, a lot of those guys are very empathetic. They're very aware of people around you, and if you hang out, I'm not saying every pro is that way, because some guys are jerks. Some guys that make it to the big times are punks, but a lot of them the ones that give you their time, you see how empathetic, and they understand. They remember when they were you, like their first time they're trying to release a product or get out or put a lecture out or something. You know, they remember and they want you to succeed as well, and we want you to succeed. So that's why we're having this live stream.
Mhm. Mhm. Well, there's one more little topic that I definitely wanted to hit before we close this out, which is the idea of crediting and kind of
Mm,
how that comes into play in the magic world, magic community with releasing. Now, we have a very unique system, the Dave system, which allows us to help, contribute to that crediting. You want to chat about that real quick, Jeff?
yeah, absolutely. So some of the there's a little bit of strife or something anytime a company or somebody sets out like, oh, I'm going to do it different, right? There's something using agitation that you're trying to fix. For me, it was piracy. It was with Copeland Coins, and so I made a lot of choices early on with the company to combat some piracy, and that's another topic there. But the idea that somebody would steal somebody else's work, and I didn't want to be that guy. And so I've got my books behind me, as many as I can read, but I've got my email list that's even longer of guys that I'm always asking for crediting and help me figure out where did this come from, because every idea is built on another idea, and even if not, and so we try to be good about crediting. We have had our share. We've had our stories here of guys say, well, this is my idea or whatnot. We try to do our best where we can and what we felt is ethical. But we feel like if it's somebody's published idea that we know out there, it's out there. We try to do our best to credit, and so that's what the Dave system is all about. With every one of our teaching videos, Dave stands for the digital annotated video experience, and that's Dave. And that is our system where we can give full text and credits and everything with every video you're watching. So if you've experienced our products, you've seen this in action. And we think that that's really important, that if you've got an idea, you know where it came from. And it's okay to build on somebody else's idea. We are a community. But if you're, we want to know crediting to make sure that you're not just releasing somebody else's ideas. So,
Sure, 100%, 100%. And so how would you suggest that an artist find the crediting before they present their idea?
yeah, well, you may have more thoughts here. I don't know exactly, but my thoughts, what you're getting at, Caleb, here. But I mean, books and Facebook groups, the Magic Cafe. There are a lot of guys out there that it is their pride and glory that they know the history of magic, and so you find one of those folks and you ask them, and if they don't know, you ask somebody else. But you put it on these groups, the Facebook groups, wherever, you'll get a response within 24 hours, almost guarantee. So that's what we did. I've done that here recently. I was looking for a quote, and so I asked some guys I knew on Facebook that would have answers, and we came up with some answers pretty quick. It didn't take long. Took about an hour.
Yeah, and there's I would think one of the things that somebody might be thinking out there is kind of like, well, if I post my idea though, couldn't somebody steal my idea? If I'm just looking for crediting. So one of the things that I would suggest is like Jeff is saying, having those Facebook groups, for instance, that are, you know, communities of trusting magicians, that work together and things. There are those groups out there, and also having some mentors that you could connect with. That's why these conventions that we talk about are so good to go to, because you meet so many people,
Yeah.
and then have specific ways that you can reach out to certain people and things like that. But even just doing, like we said, some of your own research, you can get pretty far if you look at all the Magic Cafe history forums and look at the
There's a
Conjuring
lot of
Archive.
information there. Yeah.
Conjuring Archive is another website. I think
Mhm.
Dennis
That's
Bear is
another
the
one.
one that runs
Dennis
that, and
Ferris
it's
website
like,
is amazing.
if you haven't seen the conjuringarchive.com, it's like an entire, I don't remember if, was it Bill Caluse was a part of that maybe too? But it's like the entire,
Bill I don't know, maybe.
maybe Bill Caluse was a part of, like, the Ask Alexander thing, I think.
I
But
think I know that, yeah, that's true.
the Conjuring Archive is like, if you look up a magic book, like, it'll show you the table of contents and kind of a general description of the trick for, like, every book.
Yeah.
You won't find any secrets there, but you'll find, like, so it might be, for example, you're looking for a coin routine, and then you'll find it in this one book, and it'll say, well, this was coin and cylinder, but with this. And it's like, oh, okay, so somebody already came up with that idea. Let me look into that, whatever. Um, so that kind of thing, those kind of things can help.
Yeah. Yeah, that's I mean, I wanna get something clear here, like, 'cause I know we're running the end of our clock here.
Mhm.
Um, I just wanna be clear that know your motivation and know what you hope to accomplish by releasing a magic trick, okay? And so when I say that is this is it's a tough business for one idea to, like, make your living, if that makes sense. It's a tough business. So know what your motivation is and what your goals are, right? Because you could have the next, maybe have the next Raven, or I'm trying to think of some kind of like popular tricks from over the years, the gecko or something. Of course, those were not necessarily a good effect. It wasn't like the most practical effect. I'll say that practical, but know what your motivation is, because a lot of magic ideas go out there and they are very fortunate to sell 2,000 copies. 2,000 copies worldwide in a planet of 9 billion people, right? I mean, that's a pretty good selling. Oh, 5,000. There was a really good book, and I'll go ahead and publish it here. I'll tell you about it. It's by Maxwell Murphys. It's available only on Penguin Magic. And it talks about the realistic things and the features and all the nitty gritty details if you really want to release a trick. And I would recommend anybody to understand. It talks about some of the math and the finances and stuff we didn't have quite time to get into today. But that's a really good resource, and it's a cheap read, and it just gives you some perspective, some honest perspective of something. And I would love to write a book, something like that, years down, update that kind of concept of what I've learned and what I can try to help and coach and be realistic with people. Because we've already mentioned that once the money is getting involved, and the time is getting involved, and the schedules are getting involved, it is a company, it is a business procedure. And so you got to be realistic. What do you hope to gain from this? And if money is your number one priority, I'll tell you that spending your time releasing a magic product is probably not the right field for you to be in.
It's
Because
gonna
for
it's gonna be
one
tough.
idea, it's hard to really like say that you're going to, set your retirement on it.
It's gonna be tough too, because you have to money is the pressure for releasing it. It just makes things a little more difficult, for creating original things, for,
Mhm.
trying to, it's just a little difficult. So, everybody's gonna have different motivations, but I think we went over some good filters to, think through your idea and think
Yeah.
how you can best present it to a magic company, regardless of what you're trying to do. But we wanted to give you a good kind of understanding of that, from home base, from us, from.
Yeah, and I hope that's clear on that. I mean, it's just you just need to understand what's your motivation. I hope your motivation is to advance magic, and if that is the case, then everybody wins, and that's where our company wins as its ultimate goal to make beautiful magic, and that's where you win as well. And so that's why I'm trying to just put things out there as real as they are in the real world, and we want to partner with you. If you got a good idea, we want to be a part of that. If it's not a good fit for our company, we want to bless you. We want to see you succeed and thrive wherever you go. So
Yes, so if you do have an idea for a magic trick that you feel like is ready after watching this to present to us, don't do it on social media. Don't try to send us a letter. Don't send a stork. Don't roll a
Just
coin
submit
from here to Texas. Just send an email to team@copelandcoins.com and present your idea there with a little video, kind of a full-fledged idea, and we would be happy to take a look at it and let you know our thoughts.
Yeah, love it. I think
Awesome.
we scratched the surface on that topic.
Yeah, I think we, just opened the door, you know?
A little scratch. That's about it. There's a lot more to be said.
Let me ask one quick question because I know it's gonna come up. What's the name of that penguin book again? Isn't it like Marketing Magic or something like that?
Oh gosh, I told you about it, right?
Yeah, I
We
think it's
we joined a while back.
Marketing
It's
Magic.
by Maxwell Murphy. It's Marketing Magic, I believe, is what the name of it. It's an ebook. It's a downloadable PDF. It's a pretty
Just
quick
so
read.
people can
But
find it. Yeah.
it was written with the same perspective we're coming to you with right now. And again, like of course, it's polished and published as a PDF ebook, but it's the same perspective, just reality check. Here's some of what to expect. Here's what we appreciate. Here's what you should expect, and hopefully, it makes everything smoother and better. And it just, yeah, just good. That's why I would recommend that book.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, send your ideas here if you have a full-fledged idea. We would look to see it. Matthew says rolling a coin from here to Texas was my trick. If you have a video that's less than 2 minutes long, send it to us, Matthew. Okay. Thank you guys so much. We look forward to seeing you next week. Now go make beautiful.